Does vision require eyesight? Today we are doing something very special. Law does not exist in isolation. It exists in the society that it deals with. The Blind People's Association is one of India's largest NGOs, serving people with over 23 plus disabilities and empowering thousands every day. At its helm, and our guest for today is Dr. Bhushan Punani, a distinguished alumnus from IIM Ahmedabad who has dedicated his life to social service instead of accepting a regular corporate paycheck. He is an authority in the field, having headed 2 chapters of the RPWD Act 2016, which has been upheld as a super statute by the Honorable Supreme Court recently. Today, in conversation with Dr. Bhushan Punani, let's uncover how special the laws truly are in enabling the specially abled. How are you doing today, sir?
Thank you very much. Doing very well. Thank you.
To begin, I don't want to dive directly into questions. I want to hear from you. What are a few inspirational stories that you'd like to talk to us about that would give us more context about what you do?
Way back in 1980s, we were visiting a village in Sabarkantha. We met a small boy, Raj, who was lying in a cot. He was like a vegetable. Every morning, his parents will put him outside under the tree and evening put him back into the room and just leave some food, some water close to him. I tell you, he was no better than vegetable. We felt very sorry because he had hearing loss, he had vision loss, he had no mobility, he was very underweight. So we were shocked what to do with him. So we requested the family, is it possible to bring him to Ahmedabad? We will pay for the travel and look after everything. You just have to bring him one day, probably Monday, to our institute. We brought him. And you will be surprised when we went for diagnostic with all the specialists. He had hearing loss, no doubt about that, but it could be improved through audiometry and hearing aid. He had vision loss, but that could be improved through the low vision devices. And the best part was he just had the contractures form in the lower limbs because he was lying in the cot for so many years. He just needed a very small surgery to remove the contractures. As far as his weight was concerned, they opined that once he starts walking, once he starts eating well, he will improve. We did that, and you'll be surprised. After 1 month of intervention, all the surgeries and audiometry and vision assessment, he was back to the village. He went walking. And after 3 months, we observed that he's going to the school nearby, but he's not entering the school because he had no admission. So he was sitting outside and listening to the teacher. Our field worker approached the teacher. He said, "Sir, this guy has already recovered. Why can't you take him in your class?" He was very happy. He said, "Yes, I'll take him." As he's sitting outside, he jolly will sit in our class. I tell you, that gave us a very, very different signal. It's not the institute which matters, it's the community. You have to go to the community, you have to go to the people, you have to identify these people who are marginalized, they are behind the 4 walls, they have no life, no possibility for any recovery, and bring them, do something. With that, we started a new concept called community-based rehabilitation. I'm very honored to tell you, that's one of the largest projects ever launched in any part of the world, which covered more than 500,000 people with disabilities across the length and breadth of this country. And based on that, another such project, WHO came up with the CBR guidelines, WHO came with the disability status report, and our manual, we call it CBR manual, became a big hit in Asia and Africa. So one small thing, one small experience of meeting a boy who's vegetable, who becomes a human being, change our whole outlook, change our whole approach. And today, I'm very happy to tell you that we are a field-based organization.
I really, really appreciate that this organization that you have so dearly mentioned is actually putting in the work to actually go on the field and actually make a difference, sir. So that is really inspirational to hear. Furthermore, I want to ask you a little philosophical based question, sir. There's something that's said usually that there's no such thing as a selfless deed. But you still chose to sacrifice a corporate job that you would have gotten out of your IIM Ahmedabad education, and you are doing this social service now. What drew you into this, sir?
Actually, a very modest background. My parents migrated at the time of independence and they lost everything. They were paupers. And my father became a very renowned reformer in the area in Haryana. I saw him as a child that he was doing a lot of good work. When there are a lot of people around, but he was, trying to reform the social evils and trying to guide the people, motivate the people. I always, admired his philosophy, his approach. And when I got into IIM Ahmedabad, I was one of the first one from my town to make it to IIM Ahmedabad, and also first one from my institute where I studied, National Dairy Research Institute. So I had one, I should say, crazy idea, that I will dedicate my education to social reform, to unconventional job. So I did all my projects as a student because I am here to project every trimester. I did all projects on tribal development, rural development, social intervention. And when it came to placement, I told the placement committee that I am looking only for unconventional job. They were shocked. There was no column like that in the placement brochure. So they added one, that unconventional job, one. So one Professor Mayabhai Shah, who was the faculty at IIM Ahmedabad, and he's known for consumer movement, and he called me. He says, "Are you really planning to do that, or is just a bluff that you just want some sympathy?" But no, sir. There's no reason. I already had a very bright career after my graduation. I was heading a division with a very good salary before I came to IIM. So there's no reason. I just want to try whether this education from IIM Ahmedabad could be used for a purpose. He says, okay, I offer you a most unconventional job. There's a blind school just opposite IIM campus. They are looking for an administrator. And if you want, they can appoint you. Only thing is that we are not sure how much salary we can pay you or what work you will do. But just come. I came. I met the trustee. They were very eminent trustee like Arvind Albai, Nandini Munsha, Jagdish Patel, Bhadra Satya, Manubhai. They are all eminent people of Ahmedabad. And they were very happy that I am willing to join them. Something very, very serious happened. The moment I declared that I am joining Blind People's Association, that time known as Andajan Mandal, there was a chaos in IIM Ahmedabad. He said, oh my goodness, one student joining such a small charity. It's a disgrace to the institute. People say, wow, IIM standard has gone so down that somebody has to join a school for the blind. So the director summoned me in writing, come and meet me. Director is a very busy person, but he had time to summon me. I went and met him. I explained what I have already spoken. I said, sir, I just want to try my hand if I can do that. And Dr. Vyas was a very eminent person. He was with FAO. He says, I'm impressed, but I request you one thing. Keep on telling me about your progress because a lot of people have such big ideas, but they don't continue. And the turning point was after 5 years when Dr. Pradeep Khandwala took over as director, he was facing first interview with the Indian Express, which was a very powerful newspaper. He had a Sunday magazine, which was the magazine. And there he was giving an interview. They asked him, can you name somebody who has done something good for the society? I'm very honored. He says, at least I know one person who is working for Blind People's Association and the organization is growing well. So you feel happy that one director summons you, next director calls you for a cup of tea and supports you. That was the, I should say, turning point of my career, and that gave me a lot of motivation.
So that is really insightful how you've inculcated your management learnings into social service. That's not something that is ordinary. That's not something that is usually done, not something that is so well thought out. So thank you for telling us about the backbone of the process that comes into even leading a social initiative. The thought that goes into it, the numbers that have to be calculated, how you have to assess the scalability, profitability. That is something that is an aspect that is not usually discussed very widely. So thank you for your input on that. We were just exploring the campus a while ago when we saw the Vision in the Dark. So essentially, Vision in the Dark is a room Dark room where there's a real life simulation of different aspects of life, such as a movie theater, a restaurant, a few temples, and it's completely pitch dark. So a person with sight cannot see over there, and a blind person leads you through it.
See, the whole concept is we want to give a very clear message. Blindness is frightening when you think, but it is not when you use the technology, when you use the devices, when you use the alternative senses of touch, hearing, and smell, or kinesthetic. So, we want to give a message that while darkness, the blindness, is shattering. When somebody becomes blind, he's shattered, he doesn't come out. But one can build the confidence by using technology. And the good part is, I'm very proud, lot of young people and some institute like nursing, management, IIM, NID, Sudhar, SPIPA, then TIS, Nirmala Niketan, they all have taken this project as a part of their curriculum. So everybody studying in all the institute has to come and spend time here as a part of the curriculum, and that has made a big difference. And right now also our project is not complete. We are still working on how to make it high tech. We have done high tech work, but still we are not able to localize it. And our whole approach is it should be one of the best projects of its type in the world.
Sir, I think this is a very great initiative in terms of converting public sentiment from sympathy to empathy. When you put yourself in the shoes of the person and you get to experience the world in their eyes.
Anybody who went inside either came crying or came smiling. I said, oh my goodness, that's changed my whole perspective. I can't believe the darkness is so scaring to begin with, but becomes so loving by the time to finish it. So we decided that this is one concept which India needs on permanent basis.
So you have a lot of experience dealing with people with disabilities. So in terms of young people with disabilities who want a career, let's say in law, technology, sports, what is the one piece of advice that you would like to give to them?
First of all, we should respect, accept, adopt, and use technology. Technology is a great leveler. For example, from this year, every student in this institute who is visually impaired has to use technology for learning in the classroom, writing the exam, storing the material. So every student is being provided a laptop and a mobile. So technology is a big leveler. Now there's a new dimension coming up. We have spectacles, they're called smart glasses, and which can scan the material, store the material, and read the material in any language you want to do that. And incidentally, I'm very honored, those devices have been developed in our institute by a company called Torchit and Sunboat, both companies, and they are now multi-billionaires. They're getting the international awards. They send a few 100,000 devices across the country. No, this is the technology, because now that device is using AI. Who had imagined ever that our blind student will be using the AI for listening to the material, storing of material, scanning of material. So the whole device is AI based. Even our laptops, we are promoting the GPT chat, and they are trying to develop various things using the AI. So I'm very glad that now the new dimensions of jobs, computer programming, computer operation. For example, you get a job in the bank. If you don't know technology, don't have technology and don't know the computer, you're useless. Nothing in the bank happens now manually. So, but if you know the technology, something very interesting happened. HDFC Bank, they wanted to learn that how blind people use the technology. You'll be surprised, my team of Ranchor and his colleagues, they went to teach the sighted staff of HDFC that how to use the technology. They were so shocked that this person with visual impairment knows far better use of MS Office, Excel sheet, programming than they know. And now they are going to recruit people with visual, with saw Kinnari Desai working, she's low vision, working on computer and storing everything, retrieving everything and doing everything. So they were amazed.
Truly, sir, technology is the great leveler and we must adopt or we might be obsolete. That is really, really well said, sir. Moving on to the Paralympics and sports aspect of this, India has had a very, very, very good performance right now at the Paris Olympics with over 29 medals. What is one story that really inspired you with regards to a person with disabilities playing in the Paralympics or performing any sports?
I'll tell them briefly. Bhavina Patel. She comes from Vadnagar. She was studying in our ITI, which is just in this building. And she was just first time coming out of her village and doing this ITI course after passing 10th exam in the regular school. She's in the wheelchair. She cannot stand. So we started the game of table tennis just to give them recreation that in the break time we have a table both sides. Then we got the technology that how people in wheelchair play that game, what are the rules, how we have to modify the table, how the ball should not fall, how the net is modified. We did that. And then this girl from a very, very, I should say, poor family, she picked up the game. Then we sent her to Bangalore for training because there's a special training system. We sent her to Indore. And first time, somebody from our institute won the national tournament in table tennis. Then we sent her to Commonwealth Games, thanks to our government. There she didn't win the medal, but she had very good experience. Then we sent her to Asian Games. There she won the gold medal. And the breaking point was in the Japan Paralympic. First time in the history of India, a girl in the wheelchair from India got the silver medal. Silver medal was something very big achieved. Within 5 minutes, respected Shri Narendra Modi rang her up. I'm proud of you. We bring a lot of pride to our country. And I'm very proud that you are from my village. Plus, he belongs to Vadnagar. And then government of Gujarat gave her 3 crores cash award. Then Manya Shri Anandiben Patel, being the governor of Gujarat, she tell Yogi Maharaj, why don't you also give the award? They gave 3 crores of rupees. 50 lakhs came from LIC and others. She got almost 7 crores of cash award. And not only that, on the top of everything, she got job as an assistant director in ESIS. That emboldened us. That sports can be a good source of money, prestige, patriotic nature, and also a job. Then we have promoted the first 5 players of the country in table tennis. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in different categories are from BPA. So we are very good in table tennis. The Bhavina as rating number 1 in her category in the world. And if she wins the gold in the next, she didn't win in Paris, she wins the gold in the next Paralympic games, she will get, you'll be surprised, 10 crores of cash award. And not only that, Sonal is number 11, Usha is in the ranking, Noor just got the gold medal, she works at the airport, and Shri Gautam Adani was so impressed with her performance that she uploaded her photograph along with him in his X handle, which is a very big thing that Gautam Adani uploading a photograph. I'm proud of Noor that she is part of our Adani family, and we are very excited. So we are the top institute in the country, firstly in the table tennis, secondly in the chess, and now we are top in the football for the blind. Recently we had a league match in our girls, with blind girls, won the league match for this country. They got a very handsome award. And now 4 of them have been selected for international tournament, which is a very big development.
This is very impressive, sir. The numbers that you've just shared with us are truly, truly impossible to imagine under normal circumstances without the support of the community, as you mentioned. And I truly believe that sports as a way for people to get used to living a normal life, people with special abilities getting to live a normal life, is truly, truly unique. And thank you for sharing these experiences with us, sir. So, what is one simple everyday gesture that all of us can take to make the specially abled people feel more seen, feel more included?
Very first thing is accept their disability. Don't look at their disability, accept their abilities. So everybody has one disability, but tens of abilities. So our biggest problem is, which I want to tell the young people, We always look at the disability and develop our own opinion. The moment you ignore the disability and look at their ability, things will change. I'll give a very small example. We have Mayabhai. He is person in the wheelchair. Both limbs are paralyzed. If you look at him, you'll feel pity. Oh my goodness, he can never stand for lifetime. What will he do? This man, with a lot of practice, because he had good stamina, he had flair for weightlifting. Imagine a person with both lower limbs paralyzed does the weightlifting practice in a regular gymnasium on regular basis. Today, he is number 2 player in the country in weightlifting. Not only that, weightlifting cannot be a lifetime activity. So he took up distribution of food parcels for Zomato. Zomato, I must congratulate them that they encourage people with disabilities to take up anything which they are capable of doing. He said, no, I'll deliver the food parcel. So we got him a Neo Motion, a special tricycle cum wheelchair, which cost us ₹1,00,000. One donor in Mumbai gave us 3 of those. And he started doing food delivery. But the biggest problem was, wherever he goes, people look at his disability, oh यार ये तो wheelchair में आ रहा है, ये हमको food कैसे देगा? It's so sad that people never look at this guy without, even with disability, is struggling. He wants to be independent. He wants to earn. He wants to be a human being. The moment you look at his abilities, how smart, how handsome, his body is so good. He's a weightlifter. If you look at his body, you envy him. My goodness, both lower legs paralyzed and still he has such a stout body. He went to I must tell you, for everybody, he went to deliver the food, get the food parcel from a restaurant. They said, sorry, you have to come up and take it. We have no system of going down and giving it. You have to collect it from the counter. He said, but I can't come up. You don't have a lift and I can't climb. I'm a person in the wheelchair. So either you give me down or I have no alternative. They said, sorry, we can't help you. He rang up Zomato. He says, I have come to collect this food parcel and this restaurant in this Google map is not willing to come down and give me the food parcel. Zomato rang back to the restaurant. He says, right now we are blacklisting you and you will never be listed on any online food delivery platform because we are going to trust you are inhuman. You don't accept the disability. I tell you, they started running. No, sir, no, we'll go and give him. And we are assuring that every time he comes, we'll go down and give him. I tell you, if Zomato can do, everybody can do. The moment you look at the Mayabhai, first thing you look is his wheelchair. And poor guy has a very small flinches. You can make out his disability. But the moment you look upward, look his chest upward body, upper body, he is not a person with disability. When I see him on the road, when he's driving his Neo Motion, he's as good as anybody else. He drives at a very good speed. He goes around. So my first request to everybody, people with disabilities are human beings. They could be your relations. They could be part of your family. They are one among you. Disability can strike anybody. Nobody can say, okay, I cannot become disabled. There could be accident. There could be a disease. If COVID can cause havoc, any other disease can cause a lot of disability. So the moment you start accepting them as the human beings, as part of your community, and as a part of the abled community, they can also do as per their ability. Based on that, Zydus Life Science is taking more than 50 people. Adani has assured 100,000 placement for such people. The Harsha Engineering recently took 18 people. All those people had only one difference. They're not looking at the disability of the people. They're looking at the ability of the people.
I see your experience, sir, and I can see that it has molded you as a person and also given you that kind of stance where you could be a key architect of the Rights to People with Disabilities Act 2016, which is currently the most progressive and strongest disability legislation in India. What do you think, sir, are the aspects of that legislation that makes it so?
See, first one clarification is the most progressive in the world. There's no law in other country which can match this law. Even we are ahead of the American Persons with Disabilities Act. Our act is very bold, has provisions for punishment, everything. And see, the biggest turning point in the law as a tool came when we approached the High Court of Gujarat in case of Palak Jain versus Union of India and seeking admission for a girl with disability to a medical college. That was the first reported case in this country which was being deliberated by the division bench of Justice Mohit Shah and Justice Dharmadhikari. You will be surprised, they went a notch beyond the law. They established, it was 3% that time, the 3% reservation is horizontal. All the students of law who are listening me, there are two types of reservation, vertical and horizontal. Vertical is adding on. Horizontal is within the vertical. So they said the objection was that if you had 3% reservation to 48% reservation already, it goes 51%, goes above 51%, which Supreme Court does not allow. There's a ruling of Supreme Court, no reservation can be more than 50%. So everybody was rejecting. So this team of two learned judges, first time came up with a concept, horizontal reservation. They say no. This 3% does not add to 48%. It's within 48%, 3% of SC, 3% of OBC, 3% of general quota. So it's not adding. It's not 51%. It remains 48%. Believe me, that judgment clarified the law in a very ample manner. That was confirmed in Kerala Parents Association versus Union of India by the Supreme Court. And you'll be shocked. After this case, there are few hundred or a few thousand people with disabilities in the medical colleges. Now, there cannot be any organization, any university, any institute which is supported by government, directly or indirectly, which does not respect now 4% reservation. There's no way. Because the law is so clear that if you are a government-supported educational institute, including GNLU, you have to have 4% seats reserved for people with disabilities. So that was one path-breaking achievement of the law, which we adopted in our Rights of Persons with Disabilities Act in 2016. Whole concept was amplified. Then something very interesting came, which is again a path-breaking, IIM Ahmedabad. They said, we are a premier institute. We don't respect any reservation. It's open to everybody. We went to the Chief Commissioner in 2008. We said, no, you may be premier, you may be world class, but you are an education institute in this country. You are getting grant from the government. So you have to respect the law. The moment they issued the order, issued the summon, they came running. He said, this is a law. You may be a premier institute, you may be world class, but you are bound by the law. And that first time, Amit Jain was the first blind person to join IIM Ahmedabad. There are a few thousand of them which are now completed their various IIMs admissions. So that has made a big difference. And the law, India law, the best part is, I don't know, somehow, I want to mention, our Honorable Supreme Court of India has been very, very progressive, has been very proactive in case of all the laws for people with disabilities.
So, your answer truly reflects the synergy that is necessary for law and social service to work in tandem with each other for something like this to be a success. So, right now we are in 2025. If we turn the lens to, let's say, 15 years later, what do you think would be the next frontier of disability and inclusion, in your opinion?
So, in 15 years, I see any person with disability who has the qualification, knows the technology, and is willing to work and willing to compete, jobs will be available. There will be no dearth of jobs. There are jobs as at same level, at par. Of course, there's unemployment, but there are jobs at par with the sighted or the non-disabled counterpart. But in 15 years, first they have to go for qualification. There cannot be a compromise on the minimum qualification. They have to go for technology or the newer innovations or use it to the best one. Thirdly, no, everything has a competition. There is no employment without writing an exam. Even teacher, you cannot be a teacher unless you pass TAT or TET. So they have to. That's why many organizations like us are running the coaching classes, running the technology. We have a whole technology room with 100 computers to teach computer to each and everybody who wants to learn and use the new software. We are running the coaching classes, and at the same time, we are trying to motivate people in the rural areas to come out, go for education. And we are backing up that by Smagra Shiksha, which is the largest campaign, again because of law. They take people with disabilities at par. No school can deny admission. So all the things are very bold. I'm very proud. Even people at the helm of the affairs, Honorable Prime Minister, Home Minister, Defense Minister, they have been very supportive. We don't know, but they have been very supportive whenever there's an issue and we approach them through different channels. They take positive stand, which makes a big difference.
Thank you for your answer, sir. You have truly laid the groundwork for this aspirational dream that you have mentioned right now. You have worked, sir, in a lot of international organizations, with a lot of international organizations such as the WHO, ICVEI. Is there anything you would like to tell us about your experience from those organizations?
First of all, WHO is a very bold organization. There's a whole disability division which was added by an Indian, and there we approached them that this CBR is a health concept. So whenever we talk of CBR, community-based rehabilitation, they take as a health component. They don't go for rehabilitation. Is it possible for WHO to clarify and develop the whole guidelines that CBR health is only a starting point? Is the rehabilitation, education, social inclusion, protection of rights, which are the other elements which are part of this approach? And I was very happy they formed a committee and we all were invited to that. And the arrangement was that in the whole guidelines, every member will write only 3 pages of subject of their choice, but he can comment on all the pages. It was a very long drawn exercise. There were meetings across the world. We mostly attended meetings in Bangalore. And first time in the history of WHO, they adopted the CBR guidelines, which are very fine, very well developed, and that has given us the international perspective. And second example is the Convention on the Rights of People with Disabilities. Many years before, I accompanied a colleague. We went to Mexico, where we are developing the first draft of rights of persons with of the International Convention on the Rights of People with Disabilities. The first move came from Mexico, and it was a very long drawn exercise. You know, UN bodies are very slow in adopting everything. It takes a lot of time. But in 2007, first time the UNO adopted the Convention on the Rights of People with Disabilities, and they brought a very beautiful clause that every country which signs and ratifies this convention has to modify their laws in line with the convention. And I'm very honored to tell you, India was one of the first countries. On the first day itself, 62 countries signed the convention. India signed it. Of course, it took time for the convention to be ratified, but they also ratified. The moment they signed the convention, they ratified it, we approached the government. Look, you signed it. You are part of convention. Now you have to modify your present law, which is the Person with Disabilities Act, 1995. It's not a rights-based law. It's a social inclusion law. So you have to make it right-based in in consonance with all the articles of the convention. Thanks to our government, in 2011, they appointed a committee. Credit goes to United Nations, and I was very lucky to be number 2 in the committee. This committee was 32 people, 5 from the NGOs, the rest from the state government and central government and experts. So in 2012, based on the convention, we proposed the law. In the meantime, this went to Rajya Sabha and they recommended to the standing committee. Before it could come back from the standing committee, there was a change in the government. We went for the UPA to NDA. Now NDA government came into the power. But you will be surprised, as it was an international convention, as we had proposed a law, as per the convention, respecting the international convention, the present government adopted the law in 2016, which I think was a very big achievement based on the UN convention. As far as WBU is concerned, they have a column called Success Stories. They collect the stories from around the world who are the successful blind people. So we also wrote 3 stories from our country. One was on Ranchod Soni, who's our technology head. That story was accepted and published in the World Blind Union social media and their newsletter. Then we have Shruti, who's the first deaf-blind person who became a physiotherapist in the world. She is trained at our institute. She had from Ahmedabad University. So we published her story. Then we had 3rd story on how a blind person became a preacher. He's a kathakar. He can spell. People are spellbound in thousands when he gives the pravachan. To all these stories, the very fact India had 3 very remarkable stories that brought big credit to our country. And the last and important, when COVID came, we have something called mobility, orientation and mobility. Now, this is based on the human touch. You have to touch the blind person to guide him. Now, in COVID, you cannot touch it. How we should have the mobility technique? So, we got into the job and we developed a COVID-friendly mobility technique. And there was a world conference jointly by World Blind Union and ICVI in Spain, Madrid. And there our paper was accepted that new technology, new method of orientation mobility during the things like COVID. Now again we are going to have a conference in 2026 which is being hosted by our organization in Ahmedabad, and they have already requested, they like that paper to be presented to tell the world that small things can make a big difference.
This brings us to the end of the episode, sir. Very insightful and heartwarming stories. Thank you so much for being with us here today.
My pleasure. Thank you very much, all GNLU team, for coming to BPA and doing this path-breaking story. To me, it's not an end of story. It's a beginning of a new story. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.